Hi everyone, we're back. Welcome to Earth Power's 2023 Bracket Championship. We are playing Duel Masters in the Finnish format with, we hope, the best English version of Duel Masters that exists.
And what do we have today?
Starnoid. So this is a light water concept. This deck's seen a lot of iterations. We tried it with Alzonius. Starnoid just, I think, feels like the stronger version of water light, and it has a lot of cool lines that it can do. So Starnoid, for those who aren't going to look it up, when you play it and whenever it attacks and when it dies, it generates a shield. Otherwise, it's a evolution on a Lightbringer and a Cyberlord. So it plays the Cyberlord engine stuff, Corilles, Emerals, Syrion, which is super beneficial because we get to play a grip of Illusionary Merfolks for the draw engine of this, and then the deck can play into its harder matchup, which is Control, by playing a small Craze Valkyrie engine. But the whole point of this deck is that it's just supposed to be able to out-aggro decks. Decks that come for this deck shields early, Starnoid deals with, at least hopefully efficiently. In testing, we've seen that, this deck plays the same defensive stuff that, the other, like, Marino controls. This deck, we sampled it in Marino at one point in our lives and just didn't do what we wanted it to do, but this kind of takes that piece and still plays the defensive engines that deck.
That's my cat, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's anti-aggro, essentially.
Right.
So if we're putting this into, this weirdly breaks the classic card game triangle of having a control deck, a tempo deck, and a rush deck, right? So a control deck would normally look to beat the rush deck just by pacing them out and killing them. Whereas this can operate and make that into a square, right? And actually beat multiple lines of those matchups. Even when your friends look at cats while you're talking about card game metas.
Well, just to ride off that point too. This deck kind of plays in that negative space where it can be a tempo deck. It can play fast and hit fast with Starnoid against other aggressive decks. It can kind of lay off and have its turn 6s, 7s, 8s where it hits hard with Craze Valkyrie and keeps the hand alive and just kind of tempos out from there. So against controls, which is just neat. So on paper, the concept of this deck is interesting, and testing and playing, it's played similarly. It's seen its inconsistencies, but that's, I think, just comes with playing different evolution lines. But I like the idea of your opponent not knowing what to pick when they're trying to kill a floater, and that's hopefully just uncomfortable enough to get this deck a few wins. So yeah.
So you'll see this in some future games on the Channel Earth Power 2023 Duel Masters Bracket Tournament.
What's the subtitle?
The Finnish format, I think, right?
Yes.
Finding the best.
It's up against Foul Control in its first match, so stay on the lookout for that match, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peach.
Peach.